sold over 400 copies in its first 3 days of existence.
Okay, Styx, I love listening to. He's quite brilliant, and he has a really interesting take on the elections, which I think is super important for people who are spending the time to understand what's really happening. So let me find that portion for you.
I'm pretty proud of that, actually. Looks like it might outsell Orange Man big, actually, and that was only without the aggravation of charges, which is why it's nonsensical. AB1S2K, Shekels from Oregon Hell, much love than that. It's far worse. Doubt Shadow, shout out to Phil Bowman of South. Keep gaming like a Rumble rock star. Thank you. It was the same as affirmative action while these people span. Those only involve one federal court district, and they only involve the actual plaintiffs in that case. Yeah, pistols are cool. Next news story. It's not
obviously
big on the head because Mike Pence, who fucking gives a shit. George W. 2.0, literally his physical doppelganger. Oh my god. Yeah, he's at 4 points. Everybody hold your breath. He's going in hard. Breaking! Mike Pence to launch presidential campaign next week in Des Moines, Iowa. This was NBC News the other day. Since it's happening in Iowa, which is fairly friendly territory for an evangelical like Pence, I believe he's probably running. We're not 100% sure. It could be that he's announcing he stands down. It could be he gives a soaring speech and then endorses somebody. We're not sure, but there's a 90% chance he runs. Same at this point with Christie. First point is this packs the field. If Pence and Christie both get in, then you have, a total of 9 people running? That's pretty good. That's definitely, it's less boring than the 2016 Dem field, where nobody wanted to run against Hillary Clinton. Bernie Sanders, the also ran at 25, 30 points in every state. Whoop-de-fucking-do. He got Vermont, though, I think, in the end.
He's
and
so
like 2
funny.
others. Here's the thing. Nobody cares about Mike Pence running. Mike Pence, in the aggregate, has now slipped behind Nikki Haley. He's in 4th place right now. The time to get in if he was being serious about viability was months ago, actually, when he was at around 10 points. He waited. Trump has reabsorbed support from him, from others down the field, and from DeSantis, actually. Shot up by about 12 points post-indictment. He is a shoo-in for the nomination at this time, unless there is a health problem or unless there is some sort of shenanigan. So while I don't care about Mike Pence jumping in, because it'll be funny to see him fail, on a debate stage or something. He'll have his low-energy rallies. He'll talk about Jesus being his vice president and stuff like that, and he'll average out at 5, maybe 10 points if he's really, really lucky. He probably won't even quite get there. That doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm beginning to smell a rat, and this is the conspiracy that I think is happening right now. I do not know whether this will happen, but I do believe that it is an actively planned event. My fear is that what they intend to do is they intend to stop Trump by jailing him. So not just indictment, but physically imprisonment. And then the unipartyist GOP, which are partially concerned he can't win, partially, and post being jailed, they would get even more afraid. Partially, they don't want him to win because they're unipartyists. So like a Mitt Romney or something. They will team up with most of the Democrats to preclude him from running. There will be a going through the motions by some Democrats opposing the idea because they'll be like, oh, wait, well, if Donald Trump can't win, we can't vote for this. We want him to be the nominee. They will poison the well by trying to convince Republicans that they're in on it in reverse. It's reverse psychology.
I want you to listen very closely to Styx' analysis. He has a brilliant analytical mind, and he's a brilliant individual.
What I speculate might be the case is that they intend to pack the field because all of these people, other than a couple of also-rans that aren't viable like Ramaswamy, are controlled opposition. Knock Trump out of the way by putting him in a jail cell, muzzling him, silencing him, or just drag him off the campaign field and put him into endless 5-day-a-week court battles so he has to fly from Georgia to New York to wherever the fuck else on a near-daily basis. Keep him off the campaign trail, muzzle him legally, and then the shoe, the fix is in, effectively. In such case, where Trump is not the nominee, and it won't be Ramaswamy, who's the only other, largely uncontrolled one there. It would be DeSantis or Pence or something like that, which would be funny. The Uniparty no longer cares who wins. It doesn't matter if DeSantis gets in there and averages 30% in the general because all the MAGA fans stay home. That's not the point. This is what I talked about before the 2016 election.
This is really important.
And it's the reason why Trump won. The Uniparty is used to rigging primary voting. They're used to using the fact that they control the primaries and have large latitude to do whatever the hell they want to make sure that the Republican and Democratic candidates are controlled opposition. Obama v. Romney. Who the fuck cares? Obama v. McCain.
See? Listen closely.
Largely uncontrolled one there. It would be DeSantis or Pence or something like that, which would be funny. The Uniparty no longer cares who wins. It doesn't matter if DeSantis gets in there and averages 30% in the general because all the MAGA fans stay home. That's not the point. This is what I talked about before the 2016 election, and it's the reason why Trump won. The Uniparty is used to rigging primary voting. They're used to using the fact that they control the primaries and have large latitude to do whatever the hell they want to make sure that the Republican and Democratic candidates are controlled opposition. Obama v. Romney. Who the fuck cares? Obama v. McCain. Who cares? Bush v. Kerry. Who cares? Bush v. Gore. Who cares? Etc., etc., etc. It doesn't matter who wins. They're standing for the same thing. In 2016, Trump hoodwinked them. He realized that the primaries were the primary weakness of the races, and that if he simply got in there, went full bombast mode, gobbled up all the attention, talked over and insulted everyone, and made use of social media, he could win the nomination, and the general election in 2016 was fair. It was not tampered with in any way. The 2016 was the most perfect election in U.S. history. It was perfect because the Uniparty, by the time they realized Trump was serious and he wasn't just trying to sell steaks or books, he was a shoe-in number one. They tried to stop him and failed. And they didn't have time to fiddle around with the elections. They didn't have an impetus that they could sell to the public. They didn't have a reason, therefore, to do so. And they didn't have the capability, not enough time to pull it off. Honk, honk. Other elections have not been so fortunate. Unfortunately, while some states have defortified, and there is an effort to match the Democrats' excesses with certainly Trumpstein ballot harvesting and so forth, because they are not 100% sure that they can defeat Trump in a fair general election, because they don't have enough states anymore necessarily to block him. They don't have enough of an advantage necessarily with ballot harvesting, and they're worried about resurgent MAGA, in my opinion. They intend to go down the legal route. They intend to try to put Trump in prison or to drag things out in courts to keep him off the campaign trail.
And by legal route, he doesn't mean that it's necessarily legal. They're going to exploit the law to make it appear legal.
That is what they do intend to do. Now, will it happen? I can't say for sure. But I know their intent. Their actions are quite clear. The fact that the field is being packed is partially because some of these people genuinely think Trump will be gone, he'll be in a jail cell, he'll be unviable, he'll be disqualified, and Congress may actually do that, as I've warned, and partially because these people believe that will happen because they're in the Uniparty, like Mike Pence, for example. Chris Christie's probably in on it too. That's what they want. They want the selection of one of two controlled opposition candidates. Naturally, they want to have a genuinely competitive contest over who that controlled opposition candidate will be for the GOP. They're not going to, as long as all of them are controlled opposition, all they'll do is they'll stymie like someone like Ramaswamy or Trump. The rest of the field, all a bunch of globalists, they don't give a fuck who wins. That will be an actually fair contest. DeSantis v. Christie v. Pence, etc., because they all stand for the same thing. This is also why the Democratic Party is pulling out all stops to defend Biden. Because the other possibility, of course, is you end up with a non-uniparty candidate on the other side, and they are fucking terrified of that as well. Kilroy was here. Hey Styx, fun fact, in 1979, Styx, the band, made a song called Eddie, which was a plea to Ted Kennedy not to run for president. Maybe someone should do a parody about Ron DeSantis called Ronnie. That'd be funny. Reformed Sauron. I have a hard time believing, when push came to shove, black-pilled people are going to start a civil war. Black pill means they've lost their balls. They will always be the last of the vanguard and never play the long game. Yeah, I hear a lot of national divorce bullshit. It's all bravado for the most part. Honest jerk. I agree. Check out the Beretta PX4 Storm, and if you want another Glock that's better, buy a Shadow Systems pistol. Glock 17 is pretty cool. I think next I want a tactical pistol. Yeah, it'd be good to have an actual serviceable rifle and maybe a shotgun or something. I want to get a flamethrower too, actually. That'd be good for some YouTube videos. Here I am clearing snow. It doesn't take as long as...
I just stopped there. But I hope you learned something about the elections.